And what are you doing, Rusted Souls? I'm coming to universities, the place of higher education. This is where all scientists come from, no? Isn't this where all these experts and scientists come from? What are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you talking to? A bunch of trolls online that are in on this? That's who you're talking to? Fake people online? That's better than talking to real people at universities? It's funny how you're trying to downplay this, talking to university students. Imagine I was talking to random people, like, you know, just at shopping malls and stuff. Then I could see maybe you saying stuff like that, like, oh, look at you're wasting your time with the average Joe, you know, that don't know nothing. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm coming to universities, you know, and I don't just speak to freshmen. I'm speaking to seniors as well. I speak to professors. I don't know if you missed that. I speak to professors as well, physics, astrophysicists, scientists that come here. So I don't just talk to 18-year-olds. You're full of shit. Rusted Souls. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just talking shit in the background like a little bitch? Yeah, that's what you're doing, literally. That's all you're doing. You're trying to downplay this, but there is no other better way to do this. And if there is, show me. Otherwise, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. Nah, it's just funny. Because it's not the first time that they come at me like this, so you know, at the end of the day, they could do whatever they want, they could bitch all they want, they could talk all their shit, but they don't do shit. What are they gonna do? Oh, talk about TFE. Oh, look at the sun, look at the shadows. Look at that, that exposes them as controlled opposition. Coming from a rising earther, someone that supposedly accepts the upwards motion of the earth, still sticking to TFE. What the fuck? You should know that that's just a waste of time. You should know that that's all bullshit, that it's not a real experiment, but yet you focus on that? That shows your true colors. Pathetic, pathetic. But yeah.
Dang, shots fired. What's up, little Willie? Allow me to introduce myself. First of all, like, I never said you're wasting your time. I never said, don't go out there. What are you doing out there? I just said, it's funny that you'll talk to 18 to 24-year-olds who are barely just learning physics, and maybe don't even know anything about this stuff. But yet you have somebody in your DMs for months doing demonstrations, and it's called a demonstration, not an experiment, by the way, doing multiple demonstrations, trying to talk to you politely, you know, about this, and you just, I guess, are too scared. I really don't understand why you want to just talk your shit in your video, like hide behind your table and your camera, and then be surprised that we're making videos calling you out. You know, we gave you the respect of trying to ask you to, you know, in the messages and whatever. You never responded. So this is clearly how you want to do things. So, you know, I can respect that too. I can't force a guy to try to have a civil discussion. And all you gotta do is just scroll down my page. I've recorded so much stuff. I mean, I've only posted maybe a quarter of what I recorded, but still, like, it's just funny because, you know, throw out baseless, you know, assertions about people over and over again, and eventually they're gonna call you on your shit, bro. Like, I mean, it's really not hard to see if you've been around 10 years like you claim. Like, I've never heard of you, seen you around the chats back in the day, but yeah, I'm sure you've been around. Really, it just sounds like you're bitter because, you know, your handler or whatever, your gatekeeper handler is giving you like not very much good information on physics to repeat to people. So maybe you should try learning what you're trying to teach people, since that's the thing that your wife keeps saying, is that you're not trying to debate people, you're trying to teach people, but you yourself don't even understand what you're trying to teach. And it's very clear in the way that you represent your stances, and you're clearly scared. And just because I'm calling it out, you know, doesn't mean that you need to like throw out a bunch of personal insults and act like we know each other, because we don't. So allow me to introduce myself. Here's a bunch of videos right here. I spoke to an astrophysicist in Austin. I talked to hundreds of people, like between the open mics and the, you know, city council, and, you know, and I'm not saying that you need to do any of this to be able to have a voice or an opinion. Like, that's what William's saying. And I don't understand that. If you're actually trying to bring people into this topic, the last thing you should do is like, somebody's critiquing your drawing of your centrifuge because you're clearly misunderstanding and misrepresenting what a centrifuge is while you're like claiming that that's what you believe in, and you're gonna like yell and scream that you're a dumb bitch into your camera on the street, and you think people walking by are gonna want to come up to you. Like, did you think about that while you were throwing your little tantrum? Like, I don't know, man. Like, if you're trying to present yourself as some like intellectually superior person, but then this is how you portray yourself on the street, like, I don't know, man. It's pretty weak. Like, it's not going to bring people to your cult, whatever you're trying to start. And I never, told you that you were wasting your time or that you shouldn't be there. Like, whatever floats your boat, dude. But to act like and to say that all the intellectuals are at college just shows like how small-minded you actually are, because some of the most intelligent people I've talked to are totally self-taught and avoided college at all costs and aren't in crazy amounts of debt, and are actually like understand a lot more than the people that I've spoken to that go to college. So even that, you're saying, you're trying to like act like that's the only place that you can, talk to people. Like, oh, I'm not going to go to a mall and talk to people because, like, I think, like, I wouldn't talk shit if you were going to some mall. And I was never talking shit about you going anywhere. I was literally just saying that you should, if you're going to talk to these total noob people who don't even understand, don't even know what you're talking about, why wouldn't you want to talk to somebody who actually is interested in it? It makes no sense to me. Like, it's completely backwards. And belittling people online is like such like some Fed shit. Like, I don't think that people, need to do this kind of like public work in order to have an opinion. There's plenty of people out there that are like, that I like love and admire and are brilliant minds that would never talk to a stranger or even somebody that they know about half of this stuff. And that's fine too. Everybody brings something different to the table. Not everybody is able to like face to face talk to people. I'm lucky that, I'm blessed with the ability to go up to strangers or just randomly, bring stuff up and be comfortable with it. And it just doesn't really bother me if somebody doesn't agree with me. I'm fine with it, like I've had 99% of the people I talk to don't agree with me. It doesn't stop me from having my opinion. And sometimes the seed actually sprouts and it ends up blossoming into like a beautiful friendship later on. Sometimes it takes years for it to sprout. I've had several people come back around that were super rude to me and literally like yelling at me in like a bar atmosphere, like spit flying off like crazy, and I just laughed and like, I didn't respond in an angry way. I was just like, trying to be cool. And they apologized later on and actually did start looking into the stuff I was talking about and did agree that there was, I was raising good questions and whatever, to each their own. Like, but to sit there and say that, like to judge people and say, oh, everyone on Discord and everyone in here is just fake people. Like, yeah, there's going to be some fake people and some agents, but there's also some real people listening too. And those are the people that I'm trying to get across to or trying to have conversations with. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And to try to, talk down on that and act like that's something that's like beneath you is really ignorant and really like closed-minded, especially for somebody who's supposedly a truther and supposedly trying to, do all of these, spread all of this truth. Like it's very surprising that you have that attitude. And, I'm not trying to like boast with all these pictures. Like I'm just putting it out there that like anybody that knows me and has known me has been like, dude, do you ever like take a break? Like, do you ever stop doing stuff? Because I'm like always doing something. So, or moving somewhere, or working on house projects, or working on art projects. I did a bunch of circle skirts that I just showed a minute ago. I was talking that my friend helped me screen print. Probably did like 20 or 30 of those. And I think actually like 30. I think I did like 15 of the small and 15 of like the long ones. And shirts and artwork. I gave most of the stuff away. had a couple of people donate a little bit of money towards me, but for the most part, I just would, go to art shows, go to help organize, a few of the art, flat earth art shows and meetups, and, did through warehouse parties that wasn't associated with flat earth, but, did a lot of talking about flat earth at those parties, and had my food cart set up. I sold peaches, I sold tacos. I used to, I was handling shit. You know what I mean? Like, and lately, yeah, this past winter, I finally started getting back into flat earth again, and that's when, of course, TFE stuff starts dropping, and I wasn't seeing a lot of channels that were doing, there was a couple here and there, but talking about it, but I don't know, I felt like there wasn't enough people talking about it, and that's totally fine. I get the people that are over it, don't want to hear about it, but there's quite a few people that appreciated the work that I did and appreciated my take on stuff, and the fact that I just so happened to be recording some of the conversations with Witsit that allowed us to see, his true colors and what the things that he was lying about, along with other people. And I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do with their time. I feel like, it's your time to waste. You waste it however you see fit. That was one thing that always bothered me for the past decade. I had so many people tell me that I'm wasting my time, and I'm like, well, it's my time to waste, And William sounds like a total normie telling me that I'm wasting my time on TFE. Like, well, it's my time to waste. And I'm used to people telling me that I'm wasting my time on stuff, being an artist and a seamstress for over 20 years now. I wasn't always good at my craft. I had to, in the beginning, I had to work, I had to practice, and, you mess up sometimes. You're not always perfect at things, and sometimes that's actually the coolest stuff that I've made was stuff that was accidental. Like I had something in my mind that I wanted to make, I made it, and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it. But if you let the project kind of speak to you, and I know that sounds crazy, but you let the fabric kind of decide and kind of lead you in what direction you should go with it. Sometimes your whole design can change, and it actually, can change for the better, or, sometimes the worse, and you got to scrap it and start over. But that's like the creative process that's fun, and I think more people should let themselves get lost in a hobby or art or craft of some kind. I think it's like therapy for me. So, anybody out there who's like struggling, it's good to take your mind off of things through art, music, whatever. Take yourself out on a date, go shoot some pool with somebody, some total stranger, go do something out of the norm. I swear it'll help if you're having a rough day, But anyways, I'm going to just let the rest of this play out and play some music. This is I recorded this years ago. Phoenix Afrobeat Orchestra. It's hard to say sometimes, but they're a great band. I used to go to their shows a lot and kick it with some of the band members. I made some clothes for some of the girls and a couple of the guys, actually, like ties and suspenders and whatnot. But anyways, you guys have a good night. Peace.
Different forms of art and a lot of different forms of music combined together. And one of the most important things is it brings you a message, a very important message about the community, about what we're doing, about what they're doing, and you know who they are. Right, exactly. I like you. I like her. Go away.